Talking about ADHD and bedtime today. Two things that don't always go great together. How many of you guys struggle sometimes with sleepy time, bedtime stuff? I know this guy does. This guy does for sure. As somebody in his 30s, I should be going to bed at a decent hour, like a grown-up person. I should be going to bed at like 10:30 or 11 or maybe even midnight. But a lot of times that just doesn't happen. A lot of times it's just not in the cards for us. We have so many things going on, just so much that happens around bedtime for us that it's a challenge. Going to bed at a reasonable hour is very hard. So what's some of the reasons? Like why do we struggle with that bedtime? Why do we fight bedtime so much? A lot of times we get distracted with fun activities. We get hyper focused. We get set into something. We get into a fun activity. We get focused into something. We get hyper focused into something. We find something we enjoy. We end up down the TikTok rabbit hole. We end up down the TikTok rabbit hole. We end up playing our favorite video game. So many different things can cause us to essentially lose track of time, because time management's never easy for us. We never have an easy time with time management. But if we're doing something fun, especially, oh boy, bedtime might as well be out the window. Whatever it is typically is giving us that dopamine hit. It's giving that dopamine push. So it makes it hard to stop. It makes it hard to want to not continue to play on TikTok or to do whatever that thing is that we're doing. There's also this weird thing that happens where we'll be tired all day because we're doing things that we don't want to or we're not excited to do. Give me that dopamine. And then at night when we're doing an activity or things we want to do, maybe after the kids go to bed, maybe after a long day at work, after we eat dinner, whatever, like whenever we're done doing the responsibility things for the day, then we go into doing something we're enjoying or something we want to do. And so sleep is just like, nah, like I want to have more time to do the things I want to do. So it'll re-energize us, like as soon as it's getting time for bedtime. One of the hard things for me though, is laying down, my brain starts racing because my body's not moving. I'm not focused on anything. So when I'm laying in bed with nothing else going on, a lot of times this bad boy up here will decide that it wants to go for a run. It decides it's going to race and think about everything that happened all day. It's going to think about everything I need to do. It's going to think about all my responsibilities. But it's hard because you're supposed to be going to sleep and you've made the time to go to sleep and you're laying in bed with your head on a pillow and it's just not happening for you. It's just not happening. And that sucks. Those are challenging things. For that, I recommend doing essentially like a brain dump before bed. It helps kind of clear out a lot of that junk that's going on up there, to sit there and brain dump and write down all these things that are in your mind. And I know that it doesn't always stop the racing thoughts, but it helps, like, I guess. It's not going to fix the problem, but it helps. We also have our medication, right? Our medication is a stimulant. As well as if we're on anti-anxiety or antidepressants as well, some of those make it really hard to sleep and really challenging to sleep. And a lot of times we take them multiple times a day, usually at breakfast and at lunchtime, but at least at breakfast. And sometimes a lot of those medications and stuff aren't conducive to sleep. And a lot of times we forget to take our medication at the right time. So taking our medication late can really impact our sleep schedule. And all it takes is one good time to like really, really fall out of that. I have to take mine in the morning or I'll be up all night. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, you don't always remember. Like even when you set alarms and like set these things going on, you don't always remember to take it at the right time. Oh, I forget. Or did I take it or did I not take it? That's always a debate that I have in my head. I take mine right after my shower when I put my deodorant on. That way, if I stink, I know I forgot my meds. Hey, there you go. Pair it with something else. Usually in the mornings, I don't always take it like right in the morning. So what I'll do is I will set it on my counter and like actually physically put it out on the counter. And then even though if I'm not going to take it right then, I will have put it out on a table or somewhere visual. And I can say, okay, now I'll know if it's gone, I've taken it. And if it's not gone, I know I didn't take it. But yeah, it's a good idea to pair it with something or to put it into something that's like a habit or something that you know you're going to do every day. But it's also okay to have a different sleep schedule. Not everybody's sleep schedule is going to be exactly the same. And that's totally cool. It's okay not to sleep at the time that other people sleep. The key is it's good for your brain to get enough sleep. So getting enough sleep is really, really important. It stops you from being tired. It helps you to focus. It helps you to do a lot of things to get the right amount of sleep. So making the effort and at least trying to get a good amount of sleep is very, very healthy. Other thing is, don't be afraid to ask for help. Your doctor can usually prescribe you something to help. I forget what it's called, but it's like essentially it's like super Benadryl. It's an antihistamine, so it's not habit forming. It doesn't really impact you. And yeah, really it's just an extreme antihistamine that I can use, and I take it towards the end of the bedtime. It's very, very little. It's like my psychologist calls it super Benadryl, and it helps me get to sleep. It helps wind me down. Trazodone, I think that is what it is. That sounds exactly right. But yeah, it's not habit forming. You don't have to worry about anything because it's just like super Benadryl. But yeah, so you can always ask for help. Having a routine around bedtime is also helpful. For me, a lot of times, my bedtime routine usually kicks off with me brushing my teeth. That's usually like the first step of my bedtime routine. It's like, okay, we're brushing our teeth. My body understands that like this is wind down time. We don't look at our phone for stimulating things. Like after I brush my teeth, no TikTok, no social media. It's like I build those habits together to help me wind down. I don't go back on my computer after I brush my teeth. Like brushing my teeth is like the quintessential first step to getting to bedtime. So having habits and things that you can put together to help you get to sleep, super duper helpful. Really, really great for you. And like I said, it's okay to struggle with bedtime. It's fine to fight it sometimes, but don't give up on sleeping. Don't stay up till 3 a.m. every night. It's gonna hurt your focus. It's gonna make things harder the next day. And that's when you have those days where you experience, like I said, being tired all day, and then the end of the day comes and you're like, oh, okay. Like now I have all this energy. It's because you found something that's pumping that dopamine in there. Bedtime routines, very, very important. Asking for support, taking time to wind down in the evening. There's a lot of good stuff you guys can do to help you not hate bedtime as much, because bedtime can suck, especially as someone with ADHD. I mean, it's a whole nother level of struggle for us. And I think a lot of you guys know that. I think a lot of you guys understand that and have been there. Do you guys have any tricks or tips for getting to sleep? Anything that you guys do in your routine for bedtime that helps you sleep? Turning your phone's lights down or the blue light filter. Run headfirst into a tree helps. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, there's all kinds of different things you guys can do. That's why I always like to ask, like, if other people have advice, because guided meditations, there you go. Guided meditations, very helpful. I put white noise on my phone. It does a couple things. It stops me from messing with my phone because you can't have white noise and TikTok on at the same time. That's definitely one benefit to it. Ooh, sometimes breathing techniques. Yeah, I think guided meditations and breathing techniques fit in a very, very similar space. I think those are both really, really great ideas. But yeah, don't be afraid to try different things. Like, at the end of the day, if you try something, the worst thing that's going to happen is it doesn't work for you. But it's not going to make it any harder than it already is for us to get to sleep, right? So yeah, just don't be afraid to try different stuff, because you're going to find some things that work for you. And they may not always work. They may just work for a little bit, and that's okay.